You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagle fans? Welcome all to episode 119 of Flippin the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron alongside Chris Infante and Morgan Burkett. And today we're joined by offensive lineman Cole Strange of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
How you guys feeling today?
Cold. I'm just having a hard time, man. I'm seeing too many of my reflections in your foreheads. It's been a while. I don't need to see my face that much.
My head is so cold, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I kind of dig it. I mean, why not? Like,
of course,
we're in the age of just being bald and being free.
Because I look like a fat Albert Pujols right now.
You do look like a naked mole rat. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Look at this resemblance now. It's I don't like it. But I mean, at least I still kind of have my hairline here, so the shadow of it. But
oh no, mine disappeared. Mine every time my hair goes back, it's just like got the George Costanza going on.
Like I hope it grows back. I'm very nervous.
But enough of our missing hairlines and our growing.
Happy Margarita Day, by the way.
It is Margarita Day.
No one told me this is happening. I don't know if that's just like an American holiday or just you guys. I don't know. But
you guys don't have holidays up there?
Just Boxing Day.
We had Family Day yesterday.
Family Day thing?
Yeah.
We call that Christmas or Thanksgiving.
We have that too, actually. We got Christmas too, which is dope. It's nice to have both.
Oh, so you guys have an extra Family Day?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, man. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
But
not
enough about us. Let's talk about Cole Strange instead of the strange topics that we're coming up with in the first part of the segment. Cole, how you feeling so far, man? I mean, gearing up for the NFL draft. I mean, it's got to be a little tense, a little crazy right now.
Yes, sir, it is. I'm training down in Pensacola at Exos, and I guess for the most part, I'm kind of just trying to take one thing at a time. I had the Senior Bowl and the Combine coming up this next week. I leave on Tuesday. But, for the most part, I guess I kind of just have the mindset of I'm going to do everything I can to perform as well as I can. But, after the Combine, after the Pro Day, like it's kind of in their hands to pick me. So there's not much I can do after that,
Now, at the Senior Bowl, did you meet with any teams?
Yes, sir. Like doing interviews and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we met with every single team. We had there was 4 opportunities for interviews, and 2 of them were formal in that we kind of had the rotation going, and we did 15 minutes with 16 of the teams on one day, and then 15 minutes with the other 16 teams on another day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What's that like doing the speed dating carousel? I can imagine it's nerve-wracking, man. I would run out of things to talk about. Like, is it them just like throwing questions at you? Do they, give you
like, hi, my name is Howie Roseman, and then I like long walks on the beach.
Yeah, I should have mixed that in somewhere. You don't really run out of stuff to talk about because you're kind of talking about the same thing over.
Right.
Like they're asking you similar questions, and it's only 15 minutes. It goes by quicker than you think, and once you actually start talking to them, or at least it was my experience, once you actually started talking to them and started talking football, like I thought it was fun. You just kind of hanging out talking to NFL scouts. I thought it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. So what's the elevator pitch? What's the hi, my name is Cole. This is what This is what I do. This is what I love.
I like to kill defensive linemen.
Yeah.
I wish I had that down a little bit better. I had my my background story down pat, but anytime they ask me like, what is the NFL team gonna get when they draft you? Like, I have all these great things in my head. I just feel so weird saying like you're gonna get the toughest blocker who's gonna never.
Yeah.
I can't help but think they're like, this guy's such a fake.
I feel like you got to go into like your Stone Cold Steve Austin mode where you're going to be like, you're going to get the toughest SOB in the NFL and all this extra stuff. But it's got to be wild right now, especially with everything going on with the Combine, with the bubbling and the unbubbling. How are you handling that?
I guess I'm kind of handling like somebody who didn't really know what's going on. I heard yesterday morning our strength coach here at Exos told us there was going to be a bubble, and I wasn't so sure what that meant exactly until he kind of explained it, and then I was like, well, that kind of sucks. He told us today there's no longer a bubble, and I was like, hey, sick. No, I know.
The NFL has their heads such far up their ass. But at least you get to go. It's kind of I feel like because the guys we talked to last year just had pro days. They didn't have the combine wasn't existent last year. Now they want to. Well, I guess not now anymore because they changed their minds. But they were kind of having a pro combine, but not really having the combine anymore. So that would have been stupid with the bubble because last year, the guys missed out. Yeah.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Or are they also? They're screaming?
Yeah, you froze for a sec, but you're back.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good. All right. That was strange.
You were waiting for that one.
I mean, you just had one a couple minutes ago.
It was smooth. It was a little smooth. Come on, it was as smooth as your head right now. All right, come on.
I got a little stubble.
You can tell who the old heads are on the stream.
Wow.
Just saying.
Calm down there, Junior.
Both fathers,
Yeah, shit. Watch when you get to 30 something.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible. Yeah,
it will be terrible.
Not coming in public anymore.
It will be terrible. So we had someone ask, who'd you meet with the Eagles? Like who were your interviewers?
So for the most part, I'll tell you what. I know this may be a little bit unconventional, but I got a bunch.
We're very unconventional.
Okay. I was about to say it. Sorry.
I mean, I'm drinking a margarita on this.
I got a bunch of the guys' cards. Now, I didn't get everybody's. If they were one of the first teams I met with, then I did not get their card. But after like my 7th or 8th team, I started asking the people that I met with if I could get their information.
Smart.
And I'll tell you what, I think the Eagles might fall in the category of the guys that I didn't get.
Of course. Freaking Howie Roseman.
Give it to Howie.
That's one of the guys I hadn't gotten. But
I was about to say, if you want to slip that into my DMs, I definitely would not call them at all. No, definitely not. Burn our account.
Was it mostly like part of the scouting team? Or are you meeting with position coaches at all, or
no, so at the Senior Bowl, I think it was maybe a little bit less formal or rigid, I guess I would say, than what I've heard it's going to be at Indy.
Right.
It was almost exclusively scouts that we met with. I think there was a couple teams where it seemed like there was someone who's kind of running the show, and that could have been the general manager. I feel kind of dumb because I don't really know, like a lot of guys that are general, you know what I mean? Like I could be talking to a general manager, I wouldn't necessarily know. I probably need to like look this up and research it, but I know for a fact that for, I would say the vast majority of the teams, I was just talking to one of their scouts, a regional scout, or there was a couple teams where I had like a head scout that I was talking to.
Cool.
Okay.
And I think that was the same with the Eagles.
Nice. Okay.
So we don't know for sure. That's a good answer.
We don't know for sure.
Like
which is not a bad thing for him to say. I mean, because what if this podcast ends up in the wrong lap? Like, he's keeping everything. He's doing everything the right way at the end of the day.
Of course.
Really quick question. So you have, if I'm reading this right, 44 career starts at
was it this guy
as an offensive lineman?
Let me share my screen.
No, no, absolutely.
Let me share my screen.
God.
Was it this guy? Oh, Howie.
I don't think it was
get that yearbook photo at.
Was it this guy? Was it this guy?
Well, scouts. It's part of the scouting staff.
I know. I'm seeing if he made the trip out there.
Wait, now is this their? This is
their offensive line coach.
No, I don't think there was any offensive line coaches present. You know what was weird though, and I know that y'all are mainly just Philly guys, but after we were doing the one-on-ones, the pass rush one-on-ones, I did my rep and I was resting, and the next center he went in there. And Mike Tomlin was like standing like 10 feet off to my left. So there were coaches that showed up, but as far as the interviews,
they do need offensive line help. So I'm sure you impressed them, because the Steelers need a lot of help on that line.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Big Ben had like 2 seconds to throw last year.
Well, all right. So 44 career starts. What is your most comfortable position? You played left guard, you played center, and you also played left tackle at one point. Where are you most comfortable at?
I would say left guard just because I've played there the most. But after playing a week at center at the Senior Bowl, I felt pretty comfortable there too. You know, I feel like it would just be a matter of time and reps.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let Chris take over, but because this is more of his story. But he was saying that he was looking for, kind of diamond in the rough, and this is one of those things. Is you come like no one knows, right? No one's an expert on where people are going to go in the draft, but as of now, kind of label the diamond in the rough. And we, the Eagles need a center so Chris was doing his deep dive, came across you, and then. Saw you playing center at the Senior Bowl and was really impressed. How
you wreck someone to the ground?
Yeah, so like obviously, mostly one-on-ones and not obviously full games. But how difficult is that? Just did you get notice? Did they say, hey, take some snaps at center, see what it looks like? Like how much notice did you get? How tough was that just to jump in there and do that?
It wasn't much notice. I saw some sort of like, in air quotes, depth chart that was released on Twitter.
Right.
And I don't know who put that out there, but it was the estimated depth chart for what would be at the Senior Bowl, and I was at right guard. And I didn't really have much of an opinion on that. I'm cool with whatever. But when I got there, they just kind of told me I'm going to work at center. And we had 3 guys working at center, and one of the 3 did something to his hamstring the first day of practice in individual drills. So that cut us down to 2. So I just worked at center all week. So not much of a notice, but it went well. I didn't have any bad snaps. It didn't.
Now, were you mostly under? Was the quarterback mostly under center or shotgun, or good mix of both?
It was a good mix of both, and that was the first time I'd ever really done under center at Chattanooga. We did everything out of the gun.
So if you're at center, your most experience is shotgun.
Yeah, for sure.
And that makes sense for the Eagles with Jalen Hurts being in shotgun with 4th and inches, and you're in shotgun. But
yeah, that's the only time we would do under center at Chattanooga. It was like a 4th and inches or like 3rd and inches, and it's kind of like you dig your other hand into the ground, so it's almost like a 4-point stance. You would say almost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, just I'm not an expert, but watching a bit of your film, it's very obvious. You love to run block. Pass blocking as well. Is there something what's that moment? And I know like for every football player, there's that moment where you just kind of get the heart's pumping and you just win a snap, and that takes if you're having a bad game, all of a sudden you're having a good game. Now you just had that snap. For you, is it run blocking? Is it getting that pancake block? Pass protecting. What's that moment where you're like, okay, this is why I love doing what I do?
Yeah, I think it would have to be a run block. It's kind of whenever you feel like and anybody who's played football, I think kind of knows what I'm talking about, or at least blocked. Maybe if you run the ball, it's different. But it's like whenever you feel like there's a tipping point, whenever you've got someone going and you're going to be able to like put them on the ground. Well before it happens, it's going to happen, and I think like driving someone with pass blocking, it's really, I do feel that way. But it's almost one of those things where it's like, I don't feel anything from pass blocking unless I mess up. And then I'm like, damn, this is the worst.
Yeah.
But like, even if I'm one-on-one with a guy and lock him down, I'm just like, that's what's expected. If I mess up, then it's like, okay, then you're terrible.
Right. No glory for the pass blocking.
Yeah. I wish that wasn't how it is, but that's just how I feel. I think
and then you could kind of just see the running back just run past you when you're running blocking, right? And you're like, I just did my fucking job just now.
Cole's right there with him, man. I saw a couple plays where you're beating your running back down the field. Like, damn, you got some wheels on you. 40 time would be nice. I'm excited.
Reminds me of someone at center for the Eagles right now.
Yeah,
which would be a great mentor to have, especially in your rookie season.
Yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
I mean, have you? I mean, as an offensive lineman, do you kind of keep up with most of the offensive linemen during the league? Like, especially with the Eagles, you got a complete offensive line of all-stars there. You know, you got Jordan Mailata at left tackle. You have Landon Dickerson, who you would have to fight for your number 69 if you were drafted by the Eagles. At left guard, you got obviously a legend in Jason Kelsey. Brandon Brooks was there, and obviously now he's gone. But you have really good replacements in Nate Herbig and Jack Driscoll. You know, and you got another legend in Lane Johnson at right tackle. You know, so have you kept up with the Eagles line, and how excited would it be for someone like you to really learn from people like that?
Yeah. So I guess I've always played interior. Now, I did play a little tackle this past year, so I kind of just mostly look at interior guys. And, Jason, I think, sticks out as much as anyone just because, like, he's – I don't know. Like, he's like 285, 290, or, like, maybe even a little lighter.
Yeah, he's not 300 pounds. He's
not super tall either. Like, he's 6'2", 6'3", maybe. And, like, interior defensive linemen are the heaviest guys on the field most of the time. There's like some freaks at tackle, but like most of the time those guys are like trains, and it's just incredible to think that like this guy comes in.
Aaron Donald has never had a good game against the Eagles, and that's because of Jason Kelsey.
Really?
Aaron Donald, Mr. Behemoth, never had a good.
That's
the
awesome.
only Behemoth.
never had a good game against the Eagles.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. But yeah, and as far as Jordan, it's kind of funny because there's a financial advisor I'm talking to, and if I remember correctly, I believe my agent also signed to him. So they kind of told me about him whenever I was talking to my agent. And so I looked into him a little bit more. And same with Lane Johnson. One of my teammates was like all into him. He's like, there's this video of him like working out with the shirt off, and he's like 310 and ripped. And he's like, holy crap, this guy's insane. And we were like, damn, nations. But yeah, they do have a lot of really good guys.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Well, I mean, you talked about some guards in the league. I guess it's a bit more difficult to say who you model your game off of. But are there any like guards you love to watch, centers you love to watch that aren't on the Eagles? It's okay to mention guys that aren't on the Eagles.
It's not okay. It's not okay to mention Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Do they have anybody left on the Cowboys? Oh yeah, it was Zach Martin.
Yeah, Zach Martin.
They got a couple. We won't say their names, but they got a couple of them.
He was the guy that I kind of watched whenever I first started playing offensive line, and like had heard about. It was like this guy was just the best, And then I guess another guy, which I don't think I maybe fit like in the same body type as him, is Quentin Nelson, just because he's massive, but he's fun to watch because he just like demolishes people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
really
Quentin Nelson blocks for he who must not be named. But
we do have a question for you in the chat, Cole. This one's coming from Duck. How is pass blocking different than run block in the way you mentally prepare?
And the way I mentally prepare, I guess I would say that run blocking. Now, obviously, I'm not saying it's all mindset because there's a lot of technique involved in it. But I think that. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I guess I've kind of always felt like run blocking is like it's a matter of just heart and toughness and physicality and just being mean as hell. And you kind of fix the technique as you go along, Right. It's like as long as you're going full speed, you'll figure out the technique. And I'm sure at the next level, like there's probably more to it than that. But up to this point, for me, that's kind of what it's been. And then for pass blocking, that's there's a lot more technique involved with that. And I feel like, in my opinion, like you have to just continue to stay confident no matter what. Like even if you lose like 6 one-on-one reps in a row, like because if you get in your head and you start thinking like, okay, well he's going to do this, then you change your own technique, right. And it's like it's a game within a game, and you just can't play that. You've got to do your own thing and just trust your technique. And I don't know if that answers the question, but for run blocking, it's definitely just like you don't think, you just go. And then for pass blocking, it's just practicing the technique as much as you can to the point where hopefully you don't have to think either.
Is there anything go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to ask, off the last statement with the Senior Bowl, what was that process like? I know for smaller school guys, it's not a small school, but for that it can be an eye-opening
he's
experience.
actually correct me if I'm wrong, you're actually the 8th player in school history to be to accept the invite to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that the other day.
Oh,
That was
wow.
really cool.
Cool. So how, like, what was it like? Do you feel that kind of chip on your shoulder as a smaller school guy having to come and improve yourself? What's it like to, work within a more NFL pro offense? Just what was that experience like for you?
So I loved it. I thought it was really cool working. We worked with the Jet staff, and we could have worked with anybody. I would have loved it, but it is definitely, I think, a bigger opportunity for small school guys because there's a lot of really talented guys in FCS, but it's just pretty plain and clear. Like there's more talent in FBS, and we get one FBS game a year, whereas every other FBS team gets all FBS games per, maybe one FCS game per year. And so like me doing well in that game means more than someone from an SEC school or a Big Ten school doing well in that game in those days of practice. But honestly, I wouldn't say there was any more of a chip on my shoulder then than there is any other time I play. I think it was more important for like other people to see me do well than it was for me. Like anytime I play, I'm going to try and be, aggressive and try to play main.
For sure. And then the transition to the offense, like, did you notice? I got so many questions, so stop, man.
Yeah, fire them off.
You're acting like a teenage girl at a Jonas Brothers concert.
I'm excited,
Jesus
man. I guess. With the transition to the offense, like obviously they're not going to open the full playbook for you, but did you notice a difference? Like how did it compare to the offense you ran at Chattanooga?
Yeah, it was definitely more complicated. I talked to the coach about that, like the second day in, about how they ID'd, backers at Chattanooga. We had an ID system, but by the time we actually started playing, it kind of devolved into like,
numbers.
Y'all get them, we got him. Like,
kind of like basketball. Like I got that guy, you got that
exactly. Guy. Like he just pointed and like we just knew, like we had rules and stuff, but we had so many coaching changes that by the time I was actually a senior, the guys that I'd played with, we've been playing together for, I guess it was maybe 2 or 3 years. 3 years, I think. And so, we were very familiar with each other and how we communicated, and it may not be right, but a lot of times we didn't even really make calls. Like we kind of got to the point where we'd like make jokes, and like certain jokes meant certain calls. So it's like we kind of got away from probably what we should have as far as the calls go. But whenever we actually got there, it was a proper ID system from what I can imagine, and it wasn't similar to what we had done at Chattanooga. So I kind of had to learn that on the fly, but it wasn't too bad after he kind of explained it to me a little bit better.
Is it okay if I sneak a question in?
Wait, hold on. Alex,
I didn't want Morgan to jump off the screen.
Alex just reminded us. So Cole, you're actually the second best player out of Chattanooga to ever, be out here, because T.O. was Chattanooga.
Yeah, T.O. did go to Chattanooga. I went to T.O.'s Hall of Fame speech. He moved it to Chattanooga and did it there.
Oh wow!
Cool. So we'll have another Chattanooga Hall of Famer on the.
I hope so. I hope so.
Is it okay? Okay, yeah. So when you're run blocking, I had to because you mentioned that you had to pretty much put these guys on their ass. Are you envisioning anybody like that you really hate or that really pisses you off? Like if it was me, like I would envision like some kid from like middle school or high school that pissed me off and like just.
I would envision Brian.
You probably would. Yeah. But there's gotta be like some type of motivation there, like it's like or like that kid on Xbox that was cursing you on Call of Duty.
Have you watched Waterboy? Have you ever seen Waterboy?
Yeah.
like how Bobby Boucher just looks across the lines like,
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have a secret sauce as far as a specific face that I put on anybody. Mm-hmm. I kind of just like, try to treat everybody equally hateful, I guess.
That's very very clear. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna live my life by that now.
Yeah, on the field at least. On the field, I don't think there's anyone that I think about as like, damn, that pisses me off.
This mother.
Fuck that guy.
Did you say about my mother?
Yeah.
Do you ever get pissed? Like I know you go by Cole, and we know your first name is Devin.
That's right.
Do people call you Devin just to piss you off, or is it just is it just Cole just because you want to go by Cole? Because I've known so many people that just go by their middle name just because they feel like they need to go by their middle name.
So I'm not like a weird person who's like tried to switch up whenever I was like 15. For some reason, whenever like by the time I started understanding words. Like my dad and my mom were just calling me Cole, so that's just what I went by. I never once chose to go by it. I was just Cole. And so whenever I started going to school, I was like, I actually go by Cole. And then I hear people like actually go by their middle names and like get offended by their first name. So I'm not like one of those people. For some reason, they just started calling me Cole.
Yeah, I have some students that go by nicknames, and I'm like, and I'm looking for their name in the roster to
What's
give them a bad grade.
nickname
But
you
then
go
I'm
by
like,
for your students? I'm very curious about that one. It's
well,
definitely
now
not
it's
Mr. Infante. There's
now-
no way.
Oh, so my
It's got to be like Potato Head or something like that now.
no, my first year at this school a few years ago, they started calling me Thanos.
Oh my god,
That's gotta be an ego boost right there. Come on.
It has to be like
How many times did you ask them to call you that?
Never. I never. So they will always call me like they're those kids are 8th graders now, and I don't have them anymore. And every time I see them, they're like, "Hey, Thanos." So they're still
honest
to this
question:
day.
Is there an Infinity Gauntlet in your office?
No, there is one in the math teacher's office across from my gym. So two years ago, I actually dressed up in purple as Thanos for Halloween, and I used her Infinity Gauntlet.
So you dressed up as a Teletubby, but you pulled it off as Thanos,
Yes.
and it gave you the Infinity
I
Gauntlet.
mean, you might not have said anything, but how many times did you walk around doing this and then snapping and doing stuff? You must have been dropping it. Like,
Now, I said I would make the good grades disappear a few times.
There you go.
Because they're
Threats.
Oh man, I really wish you envisioned somebody though. Like I would envision Chris's face.
Everybody does.
Why not? Like just palm it, like ah.
whenever it's not necessarily like, I guess whenever I'm like playing against a specific team, like I'll picture, throughout the week, I kind of have that person on my mind. But I guess whenever it actually comes down to it and I'm actually in the play, I guess I wouldn't say so. But I remember in our fall camp, I had a couple scouts come by and they told me back in August, they told me, they're like, yeah, Kentucky's got a really good defensive line. They got a couple big old boys up front. If you handle them well, then that'll say a lot about your abilities. And so from that day forward, I just kind of pictured, I don't know those people. The dude, I know his name's McCall, but that's about it. But, I just envisioned myself dominating him. And I don't know the guy from Adam, but, like they talked him up. And I did the same thing with the dude from South Carolina, Kinlaw. Whenever I was younger, our we had a coach on staff who talked him up nonstop. And so I just, I guess I kind of did that in my own head, like outside and inside of football.
So is that like the motivation then? Is like, okay, I heard a lot about this guy. Like I'm going to shut him down. You get a lot of motivation for that.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it's like, he gets talked up, and I guess it's easy from the perspective of like we're coming in as an FCS school, so no one expected me to do that or to play well or to shut anyone down. So I guess I had the benefit in regards to like if I laid an egg, no one would have noticed, but I didn't really look at it that way. I was just like, came in pissed off, like trying to hurt somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just so you know, if you get drafted by the Eagles next year, you're facing, Chase Young. You're facing Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn. Yeah,
Jonathan Allen.
You're facing DeForest Buckner. Leonard Williams. Who the Packers got? Kenny Clark. Steelers, TJ Watt.
Yeah.
So you got some big boys to put on their ass. You got to just put them down.
And it's funny because good God.
No, it's
Morgan, shut up already. Jesus Christ.
You think
you have hair? You have all the power here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting to my head.
Damn, I forgot my question now. Shit.
All right, perfect. That works out.
Wait, wait. I got it. So, obviously, offensive linemen. You guys are more. What? Hold on. I got an idea. Hold on. There we go. You're on timeout.
It's like around the horn. Yeah, it was around the horn.
Yeah.
So, as I feel like offensive linemen, even as a rookie, you guys, you see more playing time than expected because offensive linemen fall down to more injuries more commonly than other positions. So, like, my question pretty much, how mentally prepared are you to go in the league knowing that you're not going to just sit out a whole year? Like the moment you get drafted, like, it's game on. Like the moment somebody else, falls down, you're most likely going to be interchangeable where you play left guard, right guard, center, whatever the case may be. Like how prepared do you feel, entering that stage of your career?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I definitely, I feel like I'm already starting to prepare myself for that. No one really told me that, but for some reason I kind of just started picturing that in my mind, not even but maybe a week or so ago, of like, I don't know how much playing time I'll get. Hopefully it's a lot, and hopefully I play great. But I do know that, whenever I get on a team, like everything I'm doing, everything I do, how I play, like everything's evaluated. And so I don't know, maybe there is a grace period for guys who come in and mess up or like don't play phenomenal, but I'm not really holding myself to that standard. I'm kind of already preparing myself of like, I can't make any mistakes, So like as soon as I get the opportunity, wherever it is I go to get a playbook, like I'm going to learn, from the moment I get it until like the next meeting we have, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I know it as well, as anyone. We worked with down here in Pensacola, we worked with Josh Sitton. He played, I don't know if y'all are familiar, he played with the Packers a while back and the Bears and the Dolphins. But he told us that the main reason he got on the field as much as anything was that he knew what he was doing. Like he knew his playbook. Like whenever other guys would go out and party or do whatever, like he would be in studying his playbook. And I don't see myself doing a whole bunch of partying or a bunch of ridiculous stuff like that anyway. So I don't know. I think I'm just like I'm very aware of that possibility. And so I'm already preparing myself. Like I can't make mistakes. I can't be, like synonymous to a freshman coming into college. Like I have to be extremely focused and already geared towards like I have to earn this spot now, even if that isn't the case. I already feel like that's something that I'm gonna, be trying to do.
Okay. I mean, we know the Eagles really value their versatility in their guys. We have Isaac Seumalo who could play center or guard. We have Herbig who could play guard, center. Like anytime someone's been going down, it's been really the same guy, no matter what the position has been. Like a couple of years ago, we had Matt Pryor. Whoever went down, Pryor was going in at tackle, was going in at guard. He wasn't going in at center. But I think that's having someone like you who can do pretty much all five positions.
Yeah,
that's very, very valuable to a team like the Eagles. And it's because this Eagles team, I think except for one spot at right guard has been pretty healthy, but obviously that's now in the past. You never know what happens. And then we had 2 years ago when Carson Wentz was the quarterback, they had like out of 16 weeks, they had like 13 different offensive line combinations. Yeah. So it can 1 year it could be a turnstile at offensive line. 1 year it could be just 17 games, the same one starting lineup the whole 17 games. So having that mentality is definitely going to bring you far, no matter if it's with the Eagles or anybody else. But all right, forgetting about that, forgetting about right now 222, 222, whatever today is.
I can't believe that's a thing.
2-2s. How did you get to this point? Like what was it when you became, as soon as like you shot up to 6'6", 300 pounds, like where you're like, oh, I could maybe play football? Or was it like a love growing up? Or we had someone on Hale Henches a couple weeks ago who's now with Next Gen and all that, but he was like, his dad was offensive coordinator at his high school team, so got him into it. How did you get into football?
So whenever I was young, I guess I kind of got funneled into it. My dad is a huge football guy, and my brother's 3 years older than me, and he started playing when I was, I think, maybe 4 or maybe younger. But from the time I was little, it was definitely a love for the game. And I know that whenever my brother would be at practice, like I wouldn't be on the team, but I would kind of be like trying to get involved with drills and whatnot. Like my dad coached, so I'd be kind of involved, even though I was kind of just told to get the hell out of there. Like, so from the get-go, I was trying to play. I think as far as like looking ahead and looking at it as the next level, the first step I guess that I took to do that was in 8th grade. I remember I started going to this place back in Knoxville. It was like a kind of a workout place or workout gym kind of that was suited specifically for football. It wasn't just like you went in there and lifted, like you did football related workouts. And from that time in 8th grade, I had made a concerted effort to try and get stronger and gain weight. And it's been that way since 8th grade. I started working out, like actually lifting weights in the gym in middle school around that time, about 7th grade. And so ever since then, it's just been like a steady incline. And there was never a point where I didn't consider it happening. I mean, like my dad has always taught me to, make sure I have something prepared in case injury or anything happens. So it's not like I've just been a total fool and not thought about it not happening, but it's just been, in my mind, it's just been what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Was there like a light bulb moment where you're like, I can do this at the next level? Like I can take this places?
I never really had a light bulb moment. I always believed in myself. I was telling somebody not too long ago, which maybe sounds a little foolish, but whenever I came into college, I was like 245, 250, and had to play defensive end my senior year in high school. And before that, I had played linebacker. So I did horrible whenever I first got to college, like one-on-ones, in team, like run plays. Like I said, I fared pretty well. So it kind of makes me believe more so that run blocking is just a mindset. It says I didn't have any technique, but pass blocking, like I got smoked religiously. And I was out there playing tackle, and like I was going against like sophomores and juniors in college who had played defensive end forever, and I was getting torched. And even at that time, like I was just pissed off at myself because I knew I was better than that.
Right.
Even though I had no technique, I had no footwork. I just knew I was like, I'm better than these guys. I just knew it in my heart. And so as far as a light bulb moment, those like maybe when I feel like it seemed that way publicly, it's probably after the Kentucky game. That's when I got more attention from agents and like I guess just agents. And I didn't really have any question from me. But yeah, that was the time.
So this is a very important topic, and
You didn't want to hear your question. He's like, Morgan.
Morgan was waiting for a punchline.
See what you did, Morgan, you motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
There we go. He's back.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. We were blaming Morgan. Morgan's fault.
It completely knocked me out.
Yeah. It's okay.
Chris has been thinking of that question for like 15 minutes. And
now it's gone. No. So very important question because this is a very hot topic in Philadelphia. Well, I guess it's a two-part question. Number one, first part. Have you ever been to Philadelphia or a city like Philadelphia? Because I mean, we've talked to prospects in the past that are from Tennessee, they're from the Midwest areas, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, I've never been out that far. For you, Florida may be the furthest east you've ever been. It depends on the person. Number two, what are your thoughts on booing?
On booing?
Being booed. Like if you the hot topic in Philadelphia is if players don't like playing for fan bases that boo them when they do bad. And that's obviously you're not saying you would do bad, but there's every great player has their moments. Even Tom Brady's been booed. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah,
is it something that a player that just likes to kill people on the field just doesn't care about, or is it something that you're like, I don't really like being booed?
So as far as the Philadelphia question, I haven't been to Philadelphia. I think the farthest, for football, we played the Citadel and they were in Charleston. But as far as north, I did take a visit to West Point when I was in high school.
New York. All right.
That was the farthest up north I've ever been. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but does Philadelphia have the statue of Rocky?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. We're trying to get it down.
Oh, really?
We're not, but
Chris is trying to replace it with himself. That's the issue.
I remember when I was younger, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And then, like, a couple of years ago, like, I think I was a freshman or sophomore in high school, I was like, wait a second, is that a real statue or is that just something they did for the movie?
No, it's there. Yeah,
they kept it there because it was too heavy to move, so it's just stood there ever since.
Well, I think it's pretty cool. I'm a huge Rocky fan, so I don't know. Maybe y'all hate it. Y'all
there you go. You can run up the steps as soon as you get drafted.
Are y'all not fans of it?
Oh, I love it.
Nah, I'm okay.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I got no opinion, man.
It creates an image for the city, like creates the fighting spirit of the city, where it's about the underdogs. It's that was about the 2017 run. That's about what they are right now.
I would say that most cities have statues of real people, but beggars can't be choosers. But
Chris hates it. That's the issue.
I mean, like at least we kind of like even it out with a statue of Nick Foles and Doug Peterson, so it's kind of even. Oh, and I guess Ben Franklin too. I guess
that Ben Franklin statue is pretty cool. That's one that's on top of the building, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
We don't really have any starbecue in Toronto.
You guys don't have a Drake statue?
Maybe I think Kyle Lowry might get one when he retires.
You don't have a big Raptor statue somewhere?
Or Vince Carter? I think Vince Carter statue is long overdue.
What about a
Vince
big?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that left a sore spot when he left.
What about a big Terrace and Phillip statue?
Like from South Park?
Yeah, I'll pass on that. They're not technically from they're from Canada. They didn't mention a town, right? We could put that anywhere.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
Yeah. That's actually my first sentence I said when I was a child. Was that all Canadians actually? Yeah.
So a kind of intriguing question that Chris usually asks a lot of.
Hold on, he didn't answer. What about booing?
Yeah. So I guess as far as booing, to be honest with you, I think that the Mocs, we had some great fans, but I don't think we had so many that we really got booed too often. So I don't have any experience with it. I don't think I'd be a fan of it necessarily, but at the same time, I kind of see the in the NFL, I mean the NBA, and I don't really pay much attention to them, but professional sports in general is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
For people, that's what it is. It's the only reason that it's a thing is because people come and watch and people enjoy it and people love it enough to make podcasts on it, so it's it's for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I wouldn't be a fan of getting booed, especially by my own fans, by my own people. But at the same time, to be honest, if I mess up or if I do something worth getting booed at, I'm gonna be well aware of it before anyone boos me. And I'm not going to be even thinking about all these people are booing me. I'm going to be pissed off that I messed something up, if I miss a block or I don't know, whatever it is, you could mess up, you give up a sack. I think the last thing on my mind would be these people are booing me. I don't know. Maybe that's part of me thinks maybe that's a little entitled.
No, that's exactly what we've been looking for. There have been athletes that go through Philadelphia that think everything needs to be handed to them, like Ben Simmons. But
the sore subject.
there are guys what you just said, in Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson. I mean, Zach Ertz when he got traded. He epitomized everything what a Philly athlete is. He's when people boot me, it's because I did something wrong. I get it. Us as a fan base, for the most part, the most fans, any fan base, will react to something bad. If something bad happens on the field, we're gonna react to it. But we're not gonna say, hey, fuck that guy, I'm gonna boo him. For the most part, there are assholes just in any other fan base. There are jerks that are I don't like that guy personally, so I'm going to boo him every time he goes on the field. It's just with such a big market that Philadelphia is,
right?
You just gotta find those players that are mentally tough no matter where they're coming from, and you obviously check all the boxes there. It's just you're just going to go out there and kill people on the field, and if you get a penalty for it, oh well, the guy's dead.
It's funny, man. One of our viewers, Sean, sent me this link of I don't know if you know what's happening in Canada right now, but there's truckers are protesting, they're storming the capital city and stuff like that. And So there's all this going on, all these honking, and there's like this video of this guy yelling off his balcony, like telling him like to go home, shut it up, and of course wearing an Eagles hat, wearing all Eagles gear. You know, they're a vocal band, like they're everywhere.
That was Morgan.
Yeah,
It was Morgan.
yeah.
Undercover Morgan.
Anyways, but yeah, it's just funny, man. No matter where you are, if you're from Philly or not, if you're an Eagles fan, if you're a Philly sports fan, they'll let you hear it. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
You played in the snow? You played in any games in the snow?
I've never played in a snow game. I'd love to. I played in the coldest game I played was in high school. It was like one of those all-star games, like well after the actual season. It was in February, and it was in Kentucky, and that was the coldest game.
So it was like 40 degrees.
Yeah,
it was a little bit colder than that, but no, I hear you. It didn't get that. I didn't think it was all that cold, but it was.
December in Philly is.
It sucks.
Cold.
Yeah,
absolutely sucks.
It is cold.
Pregame meal. What's your go-to?
You know, my go-to is kind of just whatever my coaches told me was my go-to. We had like pasta and potatoes, and up until really these past couple months that I've been here at Exos, where they like, have kind of stressed the eating well, like eating properly, not just eating whatever you can. I didn't really ever put too much thought into it. I wouldn't like the pizzas every kind of a night guy. My brother and I, we lived together. We were roommates, and we would like try to meal plan and get groceries, and we try to get broccoli and vegetables and whatnot in there. But as far as pregame meal, like whenever like I was playing, like I didn't pay any attention to that, so I just got anything I could, like potato, a whole bunch of cheese, pasta, a whole bunch of sausage or chicken.
That's not my question, Brian. Like it's.
I shortened your question. Your question is
my
a paragraph
question
long. Okay.
My question was
down to like 6 characters.
My
okay.
question
Be
is
appreciated. All right.
Shut up. My question is if if you don't have to worry. No. Okay. So my question.
Well, I was thinking you guys. I didn't get any messages. I don't know where the questions are coming from.
No,
it came from the previous. I don't think
it's before your time.
Are you really going to correct the question? Like, he answered the question.
My question has always been: if you're not worried about what like your coaches are telling you to eat or your pregame meals or whatever, if you're like you had one meal that you were like, okay, I'm not worried about my weight or anything like that you had to
It's the death row meal. That's what
like,
it is.
What
do you see how long the question is?
Yeah. What's your last?
It's a completely different.
What's the death row meal?
All right. What's your death row meal? There it is. That.
If you had to pick one meal, if you had to pick, like it doesn't matter what you're doing. One meal. What is your meal?
Okay, so just like what food do I enjoy the most? Health doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's a great question. That's probably the way you should ask it. Not
stupid ass question.
That's kind of tough. Like I said, I've been trying to gain weight since 8th grade, and even though like I do hate it sometimes because I'm stuffing my face, like it's given me the opportunity to just eat anything I want for the last like 10 years. I would probably say it would have to be like just a massive like ribeye steak, medium rare.
Yes.
My dad is a really good grill. He is really good griller.
I just made some a couple days ago.
Oh my gosh, I haven't had them in forever. We have like steaks and stuff here. They feed us really well, but it's not really the same thing as back home.
What are you doing at home?
And then as far as anything with that, I'm a huge fan of potatoes. I know that I guess it kind of does sound like somewhat healthy, but I love potatoes. And it's not something we normally eat with it. And my dad could care less about it, so he never really puts it in there. But a whole bunch of mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could drink whatever with it, then I'd have some beer. Some Budweiser.
There you go. That's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
Wears the number 69 and he drinks beer, and that's my kind of guy.
Yeah. You talked about gaining weight. I think we had a question earlier too. Have you talked to any like NFL coaches, scouts? Talked about what weight you're going to be playing at. You adding weight still, or are you going to be at the weight you're going into the pros with?
It kind of depends, I guess, on the scheme, because I've heard very different things from different guys, and I can't exactly remember who it is that's told me specifically what. I've had one that's told me that I'm probably going to have to gain up to like 325. Other than that,
is that about 20, 30 pounds for you right now?
I'm like 305 right now. So 20 pounds, which I think I could do if I needed to. But for the most part, I've heard at guard, I need to be a little bit heavier, maybe up to 310. At center, I'm about good where I am. And I've also heard from several people that whether I play guard or center, as long as I'm above 300 and can move, they don't really care. So I could almost lose a few pounds, but I hear the gain weight more often. So I just stick with that for right now.
Again, look at Jason Kelsey.
Exactly. Right. That's what I'd like to do. I'd love to lose weight.
Me too.
Is that like? Is there? Oh, man.
My wife tells me that all the time.
Oh God! It's turning into an intervention.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for the guy now, man. Is there like an ideal scheme fit? You want, what do you want to do? Power scheme, zone scheme.
I guess I would say zone scheme. That's what we ran more so than anything in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So, and even though we had like 5 or 6 different offensive line coaches, the last 3 or 4 years I was there, that was the bread and butter of what we ran.
Now, I'm not sure. Obviously, you're coming from a team that ran over 200 yards a game. With you guys blocking in front. How did you ever have a running back or wide receiver, whoever's running the ball? They're supposed to hit the hole that you just created. You just created this massive hole. Did you ever give a guy just look at the hole and I'm going to go outside? And how much does that piss you off?
Yeah, we did. We had a guy like that a few years back, and he quit. He wasn't on the team for long, but he was very much that guy. And
so you imagine his face when you're run blocking. I cracked the code. That's what it is. You saw his face when you mentioned that.
My own running back.
Hit the hole, man. Hit the hole.
Yeah. No, he did that. I think he wasn't very big. He was really fast, to his credit, but he wasn't that fast. So I think in his head, he was like,
You're really laying out the punches over here.
Did what?
You're really laying out the punches. He was really big. He wasn't really too fast.
He's a little bitch.
Yeah. No, I don't mean none of that, but you're not too wrong. You bounce everything outside. It's like, that's not how you play football.
So what we're saying here is that he wouldn't like Miles Sanders.
He probably would. I mean, what's the likelihood Miles Sanders is a part of the team next year at this point? Let's be honest.
I don't know.
Miles Sanders thinks he's LaShawn McCoy. But
they're NFL players, man. Yeah. He'll learn.
So we went over food, music.
Yeah.
Music. Is there anything that you just put in your ears? You're like, okay, I'm ready to kill people.
The sound of his running back running.
like you put this on, you're like, oh, that running back.
Oh, I hear his voice. Damn it!
Just a voice recording of him talking.
Yeah.
No, I kind of like heavy metal, rock and roll.
Okay.
Leonard Skinner is my go-to. I love them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely look like that kind of guy. Just put it on and just headbang your way to the field.
Yeah,
I'm going to see Foo Fighters. I'm going to go see Foo Fighters in July.
That's awesome.
Chris and Brian's favorite go-to song is Humpty Dumpty. Actually,
is it because our eggheads?
Wow! You're kind of funny for a Canadian. You know that?
Yeah. I'm far moved.
Remember,
I can say whatever I want.
We brought you onto this.
We birthed you.
I think about that every day.
We brought you on.
Yeah.
Chris is still paying child support for the podcast he missed.
So pregame rituals, we talked about food, talked about music. Are you a big rituals guy? Do you care much? Are you superstitious at all?
Not at all. Whenever I was in high school, I tried to have this little thing that I did, but as I grew up, I was just kind of thought that was kind of silly, and I don't know. The only pregame thing that I do that would maybe be considered ritualistic is just doing anything I can to just stay focused and just continue to rerun situations in my head of me dumping somebody over, running someone into the ground. Mm-hmm. But songs are things that I do specifically. Not really.
Mm-hmm. You big film guy? You watch yeah. It sounds like.
Oh, I just reminded me. That's my next question.
What's your next question?
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to.
No, you can ask your question.
So obviously your last name's Strange. You know,
Yes, sir.
So we got Doctor Strange coming up in May and all that stuff. Are you a Marvel or DC guy?
Like one or the other?
Yeah.
That's tough. To be honest with you, I feel like Marvel puts out really good movies, but the DC superheroes are just kind of like it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough for me to choose Marvel over DC when you've got Batman, Superman.
He's getting drafted first overall pick. The Eagles. They're trading up for him.
I love the Marvel movies. I feel like they've done really well, but like Batman Begins, I don't know. Give me that.
Mm-hmm. The whole Batman. I like the darkness of it. Like it's just dark. I like that.
Yeah,
because Joker counts as DC, right? Like,
yeah, he'd have to. He's Batman's.
Yeah. Because those Joker movies are dope.
What
do you got? What do you got on the Marvel side? Go ahead.
Suicide Squad sucked. So
listen, okay, you can't really judge
DC
movies so well because everything outside of Batman and Superman has been terrible. But DC animation, the DC comics, the background of all these superheroes is phenomenal. There's more backstory in my opinion.
DC shows like Titans has been really good. Peacemaker was fucking phenomenal.
Oh, I still haven't finished.
Peacemaker was so far awesome. So Peacemaker was so good. But Marvel hand movies like Spider-Man was.
That's because they got Disney behind them.
I was a big Spider-Man fan when I was younger.
Spider-Man was.
I'll tell you what,
phenomenal.
If I'm not like a huge fan, I know I love Batman, but does X-Men fall under Marvel?
Yeah.
See, I'm a big X-Men fan. So I don't know
and it looks like they're coming back. So
Professor X.
Yeah. So I mean, Doctor Strange is just probably bringing Professor X back. So we got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and now we got Cole Strange in the Multiverse of the NFL Draft.
I was waiting for that to come out.
Well, we've been having this debate too because I'm trying to get Chris. I don't even know if you've watched him now, but I'm trying to get him to watch Boba Fett. And
I watched.
Wait, you haven't seen Boba Fett?
Yeah, I've seen Boba Fett.
Okay. Because I don't know if that's like a third option because it's not the same.
I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I enjoyed Mandalorian and Boba Fett. I enjoyed them.
Mandalorian was dope. And
I didn't really like Boba Fett until Mandalorian showed up. So.
Well, I think that was everybody.
Yeah.
It was kind of boring in the beginning. A little boring.
Yeah,
Doug said you have dad jokes.
That's because I'm a dad.
Well, cool.
My daughter punched me 3 different times today. I got pissed off at her.
That's an everyday.
That's not a prerequisite of being a dad. You don't have to get punched. I get punched all the time. I'm not a father, so.
Do we need to talk about this outside the call?
Yeah, it's been
all right. So Cole, we're gonna give you the same. So the one robotic question that you said you have pre-written and all that stuff. We always end with this. What is an NFL team getting when they draft number 69, Cole Strange, coming to their team?
I got you, Cole. They're getting something strange. That's all you gotta say. There it is. That's all you gotta say.
Fucking asshole.
If I could just like perfect the Stone Cold or maybe like The Rock, and just come on and say something just like that and leave it at that. But
it's got to be wordplay with your last name. It just has to be.
No, it doesn't.
It has to be. It fits perfectly.
Stone Cold. Not Stone Cold.
I like
Cold.
that.
Ooh.
That's tough.
That's right.
That's nice.
No, I think as much as anything, I definitely think, like I was talking about earlier, like I know for a fact I'm going to be as prepared as anyone. Like there's nothing I won't do as far as like whatever, if I need to gain weight or lose weight to be faster. I don't know if that'll happen, but there's nothing I won't prepare for. And as much as anything, I think that I know for a fact I'm going to add to whatever the culture of the team is and bring it more towards, if it's not already there, like I'm only going to add to bringing a culture of toughness and physicality and playing mean and aggressive, but also having each other's backs and just, growing close as a team.
Cool. One final question. I saw that your major was psychology.
Yes, sir.
What you graduated with.
Yes,
is
sir.
That after your playing days are over, are you going to get your PhD? And are you going to be Dr. Strange?
I've actually thought about that. I've considered if I'm lucky enough to have one of those crazy, like 8, 9, 10-year careers, I've heard that the NFL actually gives you scholarship money if you want to continue school.
Oh, wow. That's phenomenal.
So if that is true, I'm halfway through a master's degree in engineering management. So I only have 2 more years of that. So I'd probably finish that first. But if that's the case and they kind of just give you the scholarship money, as long as you're, actually trying to go to school, I'd seriously consider that. I
Well,
would.
10-year career puts you in your mid-30s. That's not too late. It's never too late to go back to school, but it's damn 10 more years in your mid-30s. Look at us, Brian. Shit.
I'm 33, bro. It's not mid-30s. I'm still in the beginning stages of it, bro. Relax yourself.
No. 30 to 32 is early 30s. 33 to 36 is like mid, and then 37 on is late.
No. Mid is 5.
No.
Yeah.
1 through 10. Mid is 5. Okay. Don't rush me. All right.
Yeah, you got 2 on you.
Yeah, I got 2 years. Let me live it up, bro. Oh gosh. Damn. But yeah, cool. We appreciate you, taking the time out, just dealing with our banter.
Don't log off yet because I got a question afterwards.
Okay. And dealing with our banter and dealing with Morgan's amazing questions.
Of course.
And I just can't see it. Alex said that.
I think this is the first podcast that I didn't talk as much as someone else.
You actually didn't, but
Alex
in the chat said that that Morgan looks like Cole's brother, and I can't unsee it, like the hair,
I'll
the beard.
Take it. Two handsome looking dudes, man. I'll take it. Whatever.
Well, it's with siblings, it's always one handsome sibling. The other one's the ugly duckling. That's how usually it works.
All right, that's that. All right.
But yeah, cool. We appreciate you for coming.
I'm not hurt. That's fine.
No, thank you.
We got to fix Morgan afterwards. We appreciate everybody for joining us in the chat. We'll be back fairly soon with more prospects and more weekly Flipping the Birds. We're still in a little hiatus, but I think after first week or second week of March we'll be back. But yeah, until then, I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. He's Morgan Burkett. He's future Hall of Famer Cole Strange, and this is Flipping the Birds. See you guys next time.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.